Today on Jer and Jeff Eat New West, we're checking out all butter chicken all the time.
So hi, my name is Manish. I'm one of the founders of Kalash Indian Kitchen in Queensboro, and this is my new project called Butterica, and we are focusing on made fresh everyday butter chicken sauce.
I think first thing we should talk about is the sauce, because I mean that's what this place lives or dies on.
The star of the, not just the dish, but the
Yeah.
restaurant is the butter chicken. It's different than probably any butter chicken that I've had.
Yeah.
I think obviously, as he mentioned, part of that is from just how they're prepping it and having the time to focus on it and do it well. And I didn't think it was going to be that labor intensive, but it seemed like there's a lot of time goes into it.
First we bring the tomatoes, then we wash the tomatoes, we dice the tomatoes, then we bake the tomatoes with garlic and ginger. It takes around 35 to 40 minutes to get that char on the tomato. Then we grind the tomato, get the pulp out and the seeds and everything out. Then once that's done, then we cook the tomatoes with just the tomato sauce. We cook it for another maybe hour and a half to make sure it's thick enough. On the other side, we have the onions. We make onion gravy, so we chop the onions, we caramelize the onions, we add all the spices, all the flavors in it, make onion gravy separate, and then we mix the onion gravy to the sauce. Then we cook it another for maybe 35 to 40 minutes, and then we add cashew cream and fenugreek leaves and all the sauce, and then we cook it for an hour or so. We roast the cashews, then we soak it in water, then we mixed it with green cardamom, and then we make a paste of it, and then we use that paste for making the sauce. Final step is smoking the sauce, because in India I've tasted at one place and it was very different, but they were using butter and charcoal. So they were using hot charcoal and putting butter on top of it so that it smokes, and then they put the lid. But here we are using a smoke gun to do that, and we're using applewood bits too. So once the sauce is made with tomatoes, onions, cashews and everything, stirred for another maybe hour or so. Once it's cooked, then we keep it aside. We take the smoke gun, we put chips, light it, and then we put it on the sauce. We keep it down, and we then keep it for another 10 minutes or something. And then we blend the whole thing so that the flavor, yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting, and I liked the smoky flavor.
Probably the best I've had. I find that sometimes they can be like really creamy or like on the sweet side. I think you mentioned that sometimes they'll add ketchup to it some places, and I think maybe that's what's adding the sweetness that I don't like from some. Butter chicken is not normally my go-to dish when I'm ordering Indian. I usually go for like the lamb curry, but this was different. It just felt like it had more going on, more depth, to use all the food buzzwords. But all in all, yeah, it just seemed like it had a lot going on. We should have got more spice on it.
Yes.
Because we know that Manish knows how to turn up the spice level. I had it again last night for dinner.
Oh, wait, leftovers. Or did you go back?
No, I had leftovers.
Yeah.
It's a different day.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know. And I added some heat to it, and it took it well. I think it was better, but that's because we like spice. So
I had certain issues with my other restaurants. Not issue in the sense, there were some challenges or problems I thought there were. So first thing was consistency. So when the restaurant is busy, the flavor is not going to be that good. That was one problem. Second is the wait time. So whenever people place the order, they have to wait for 35 minutes. If it's busy, maybe even 1 hour. So that was another problem, because if someone is hungry and maybe if their kids are hungry, they don't want to wait that long. So to avoid that, we just focused on one thing that was really popular and made it the best. We just make it fresh every morning, and then we sell it the whole day. I know Indian food is kind of expensive, but since we are focusing on that particular sauce, we can do we can use some of our labor, most of our labor and everything on that. So we are not that difficult or expensive to operate. So that reflects on the price as well. with tandoor, we'll have another problem. So we need another guy, and the operational cost goes up. But we have another way of making naan, which makes the naan even softer. So in the tandoor, if we use the naan bread, it's a little thicker, and then it gets a little crunchy or flaky. I mean, we are using wok, and then we're using the round dough on top of it. It's making it soft. That's how we make roti in India. That's a thin flat bread, and it's pretty soft. So we're making naan that way. And I was just seeing if people like it, and then people are coming back and they say it's good.
A few years ago, I went to New York, and my friend Sam took me to this restaurant there, which only served one dish. So you made no orders. You got Caesar salad, you got steak, and you got French fries. And your only choice was how you wanted your steak cooked. But man, that was the best Caesar salad I've ever had, and the best steak I've ever had. Like they did one thing and they did it really, really well. And I think this is kind of a similar concept. Now, it's not quite so rigid. Like you've got some choices. So if you're not into meat, you can get paneer instead of chicken. And he's got sort of the traditional butter chicken, which is on rice. He had it almost like Subway style, where you pick out a bunch of stuff to add. But he also has, like, you can get French fries covered in buttered chicken sauce. You can get a samosa covered in buttered chicken sauce. Do you have any other things? There was a whole bunch of
there's variety.
Options. Yeah.
So, but definitely it's the sauce, and they've done it really well.
Totally.
And it starts off vegetarian, so it's not. There's no chicken stock. The meat component or the protein component's added later, so it's nice that if you are a plant-based person,
Yeah.
you have options, and the paneer is also a great thing to add in lieu of the chicken.
We are planning to make it fresh every day, and right now what's happening is we have some leftovers till 7 o'clock. So we'll fill the to-go containers with the remaining sauce, and then people, if they come and buy it, it'll be 50% discount.
There are two more choices with the sauce. They can make it up with some coconut in it, and they can make it up with some mango in it. We tried all three, so the regular, the mango, and the coconut. What were your thoughts on those guys?
Both really good. Like when there is a mango butter chicken option on a menu, I find that they're just like overly sweet for my.
We've had Indian food a bunch of times, and my wife adores mango butter chicken, and I can tell it's not your favorite.
But I mean, I'll enjoy it and I'll have some, but again, it's not going to be the main thing that's on my plate. But I feel like with that one, and maybe just because they're just starting with such a good foundation with the sauce, that it doesn't detract from that, adding some of that sweeter component to it. So
it wasn't overpowering, right?
It wasn't. You had fresh mango and then some of the mango pulp. So it just changes it a bit without being overly sweet, which I liked. The coconut was fairly subtle, but it makes sense.
Coconut was my least favorite of the three. Most of the time I think I would get just the regular. Every once in a while I'd get the mango to mix it up. I don't think I'd order the coconut. Not that it was not bad in any way. I just really like the sauce on its own, and I think the mango's a nice change of pace, and I'm sure my wife will talk me into ordering it.
And normally I'm one to add all sorts of crap into things and customize it.
Yes, you are.
But I just feel like the sauce was so great on its own.
So I think this is one of the most riskiest projects that I've taken, and the reason being, I talked to the people before, and then I was told not to open here because of the foot traffic. I won't get enough sales. Track record of this place being not that good for a restaurant. But I did my basic research, did my background, and I thought this place is okay. There's always a risk, but I think this is a good place. I wanted to open in US, that's for sure. Downtown area, probably not across the bridge.
I'm excited for him. I really hope he does well, because that's been such a challenging.
It's a hard location.
The parking has been a challenge. Those buildings are going up, so that's going to add some new people to the neighborhood. But those are years away from being occupied, which is going to be a struggle. But it's nice to have them over here a little bit closer. That's probably one reason I don't always go over to his place over at Queensboro, just because it's dinner time, there's traffic.
It's tough.
just some of those challenges with the location.
Well, and he
no
was
excuses now because he's so close. There is free parking for the Quay. Not a lot of people know this, but underneath the two towers, the River Sky towers, there's 30-minute Quay parking. So you can scoot in there, and they're almost always available. You just register your license plate. There's a little kiosk thing in the underground there.
so not the underground where you
not
pay,
the one where you, not
but,
the inn at the Quay underground. where
but
you
River
park.
Sky has.
But under the River Sky, so just off of Quayside, there's a ramp. It kind of looks like it's residential parking because it is one of the entrances to the residential parking for River Sky 1 and 2. But there are some pay parking stalls, but there are also free Quay parking stalls.
so if you're just running in to like pick up dinner and go, Jerry, I learned something.
yeah, and my truck fits under there, like it's little cars, big cars. There's room, and you just put your plate in. 30 minutes. So you no excuses. You can still park underneath. It's a quick little walk over. You can be in and out of there probably in like 5 minutes if you're quick.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. You've got no excuse. Get your free parking. Go to Butterica. Try it out. I think you'll like it. It was pretty tasty.